Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today we're talking August faves, the video where I share with you all the skincare and beauty products that made a big impression on me this month. So if you're so ready to dive into the faves, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. Geek and Gorgeous Power Peptides. Now let me tell you, when I first got my hands on this, I had high expectations because Geek and Gorgeous is a brand that does not play. I trust them to come correct on any product that they do, but especially when it comes to peptides, which I think it's so easy to not get peptides right. The peptides here that have been formulated into the serum are really about targeting collagen production, skin elasticity, tone, texture, and skin firmness. They're using 3% of Matrixyl 3000. Now this is a peptide duo that is pretty well researched. They're using 3%, which is the recommended amount from the manufacturer to help reduce the look of wrinkles and fine lines. Matrixyl 3000 has also shown benefits for skin elasticity, tone, and texture. They're also using 2% of Matrixyl Synth 6. Now this is like the newest generation of the Matrixyl peptide family, right? And this is a peptide that really helps to focus on collagen, but not just collagen, but the other proteins that help to assist firmer skin. So it helps with collagen, hyaluronic acid, as well as fibronectin. It really does target that skin matrix, and it has been shown to be helpful for wrinkles and for firmer skin. They're also using 4% of tetrapeptide 21. Now there's some similar benefits here, some overlap with the Matrixyl Synth 6. It helps with collagen, hyaluronic acid, and fibronectin. You know, these are all the things within the skin that make it thick, that make it firm, that make it smooth, that make it lifted and elastic, right? And then they're using 0.001% of copper palmitoyl heptapeptide 14, which goes by the trade name X50 Anti-Aging. Now this is an interesting peptide that helps to stimulate collagen. Peptides actually do work in small quantities. The percentages generally tend to not be very impressive sounding like this, 0.001%, because they can be incredibly effective at small percentages. And this is actually the recommended amount for this peptide. 0.001%. This is the recommended amount for it to be effective, which may surprise you because it doesn't sound like a lot, but this is why we have to look a little bit deeper than just being percentage queens and kings, yeah? Because this peptide actually, they have combined it with a targeting peptide. This is a peptide that's going to target and to carry this copper peptide to exactly where it needs to do so it can be effective. So the additional peptide that they're using here is heptapeptide 15 palmitate. So this peptide takes the copper peptide and guides it to the fibroblast receptor where the collagen is stimulated and created within the skin. That is why you can use such a small quantity of this peptide, because it is more efficiently being carried to exactly where it needs to go to do exactly what it needs to do. And that's why I said I expect Geek and Gorgeous to come correct, and they have come correct with the peptides, with the carrier peptides, with the entire formula. And they did it in a milky, silky, hydrating type of serum texture, which you know I love these milky serum textures. It's really good. It's hydrating, it's a little bit plumping, and there's a milky moisturization to it that just feels really good on my combination skin. I don't find it too overwhelming. Honestly, I think it has really good absorbency into the skin. It's not sticky or tacky or greasy at the surface. So a really well-performing serum that slotted right into all of my skincare routines very effortlessly. So I have been using this for quite a while now, and I've been consistently using this and really testing this out. Along with the Purito serum that I talked about in July, these are the only two serums that I've been using. I also want to share with you, if you missed it, I actually stopped using tretinoin back in the end of April, beginning of May. This is just kind of like an experiment and a journey that I'm on. So I've been using over-the-counter retinaldehyde, and then some other stuff too, but like my main collagen stimulator now is a retinaldehyde. So I just wanted to let you know that's where I'm at. Now let me tell you results. About 4 weeks in, I realized, it was like all of a sudden I was like, my skin feels thicker. Like the actual skin feels thicker. it's so hard to say because, you know, in the mirror, I'm not seeing like thicker skin or firmer skin because my skin is pretty firm, right? I don't have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, but like, look, I am in my mid 30s. You know what I mean? Like, well, aging, this is real, right? I know I'm in a good spot. I want to keep myself in a good spot, and I want to do the best that I possibly can to what? Age well, right? And so I definitely noticed changes in my skin, especially being in my mid 30s, right? Like, things are not the same as when I was 27, and I don't expect them to be. But with this serum, the first thing I noticed, like I said, about 4 weeks in, about a month, I was like, my skin feels thicker. And I'm off tretinoin, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, this is exciting. This is really nice. Definitely, I think there's a smoothness to the skin. I always look around like this area. Like I said, I don't have very many fine lines. Definitely around the eyes I do. But this is like a line that can sometimes give me some information. It definitely looks smoother, plumper, firmer, right? And then especially like this area here, right? You want that to be nice and firm. That area can show some sag, right? And so it's like, ooh, I can feel it under my fingers. It feels good. My initial impressions about this, using it for like a week or two, I was like, I think my skin just looks fresher. Like the tone just looks really good. You know what I mean? Like just like the overall like health of my skin looks more refreshed. But I wasn't 1,000% sure if it was this or if it was just like, you know, retinol doing its thing, like a retinol glow. I don't know. As I said, you know, I went straight from tretinoin to a different retinoid and over the counter, but still, there was no pause. Do you know what I mean? So it would be strange for me to have some kind of new and obvious retinol glow when there's never been a pause in my retinoid usage since the very beginning of 2020, like prior to the pandemic. So it probably was this serum because it is refreshing all those proteins in your skin. And it's really, you know, the matrixyl is actually, you know, we always talk about it for fine lines and wrinkles, but it does actually help with tone and texture. And I think that's the biggest thing I was seeing was tone and texture change for the better. I was just like, I just look fresher, you know? So very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. I think this is a good preventative serum. I don't think I have a hard time saying that. If you're looking at peptides as something to add into your well-aging game to prevent, you know what I mean, the fine lines and wrinkles, or to help them not be as bad, to lessen them. Maybe the prevention is not the right word, but lessen them. The aging well process, right? I think that this would be a good one to add into your routine. I'm very excited by the results that I'm seeing. Farmacy Honey Milk Hydrating Essence. Now, I actually learned about this product when I was doing a skincare consult a couple of months ago. So shout out to Sophie. I'm sure you're watching. Thank you for mentioning that you were using this. So this is definitely a honey-based essence, which I absolutely love honey because it's so anti-inflammatory, it's so healing, it's so moisturizing, and it always just makes my skin look really healthy. But there's some other really great stuff in here. There's some ceramide NP, you know, I'll take it where I can get it. There's some Saccharomyces ferment in here. Love a good fermented essence. It always just takes everything up a notch and brings a really beautiful, glowy healthiness to the skin. And then there's also some chamomile in here too, which I know sometimes the plant extracts aren't always great, but chamomile always seems to work for my skin. It's anti-inflammatory, it's soothing, right? Just like the tea is, it's like that for your skin too. It's just like, And so that's exactly what this essence is. It is a beautiful, beautiful moisturizing essence. It is creamy, it's silky, it's luxurious, but it actually has like a gel base to it, which actually makes it really hydrating as well. It functions really perfectly like in between toner and serum. You know, it's just that right type of texture. It absorbs in really nice. It really plumps out the skin, which I love. You know, I love that bouncy, juicy skin, especially in the summer. Really, really hydrating, very replenishing, but that milky honey moisture, the honey milk. I love that name, honey milk. It just locks everything in place without being greasy at the top. You know, it's called a honey milk essence, but I wouldn't really like refer to this like a milky toner essence. And I'm thinking like Laneige Cream Skin Refiner. I'm thinking like the Tier Milk Skin Toner, right? It's not so milky and so emollient and so rich at the top. This, it just has a really, really elegant texture where it really hydrates and plumps and softens your skin at the top, but it doesn't have like a oil feel to it. It doesn't have like a slip at the top. It's incredibly balancing for my combination skin. I usually use this essence in my nighttime routine. So in the summer, which it's still very warm, and we probably still have another month or two of warmness, quite honestly, because, you know, climate change is real. But I use this in my nighttime routine where I'll switch out my essence. As I shared in my balancing or cycling through actives skincare routine video I did a couple of months ago, I show you how I usually keep things consistent, but I might switch out something a little bit more moisturizing in the nighttime. And that's exactly how this slots into my routine. I emptied my Dr. Cerecal kombucha tea essence, and so I just put this right in there in my nighttime routine. And it really brings that amount of moisture and balance to my routine, just like that product does, just in a different formulation, right? So it fits beautifully into my nighttime routine, but it's not overwhelming. You know, as I said, it's not greasy at the top. It's not so much moisture that it makes everything else feel a little too thick or overwhelmed. It's just so, so good. So let me give you a little quick update on the Beauty of Joseon ground rice and honey mask. I have been using this so much. I wanted to put it in the last month's favorites video, but I just had so many favorites to talk about, and I had already put a lot of spotlight on the product, so I was just like, I just don't have the time to talk about it. But I really wanted to update you, just let you know that like I've been using this at least once a week since I got it. It's almost empty. I really, really like this mask because it makes using a clay mask a lot easier for my skin that can get easily dried out by clay. I love clay masks because I got that oily T-zone, so the pores can just really fill up and look very stretched out in this butterfly area for sure, on my nose and around here. And I love what clay can do, especially if you're consistently using it like once or two times a week to just get the extra oil out. It really helps to encourage the gunk to not build up inside the pore. And when you clean everything out, you can kind of keep them a little bit smoother and a little bit tighter, right? Pores don't open and close, right? But when they're full of stuff, they don't look good. So if you keep them clean, you keep them smooth, they will look tighter. And so I really like clay for that, but sometimes it's just too rough on my skin. And I have used tricks in the past to help make them more moisturizing, like mixing in some milk cleanser, which I absolutely love doing. But I feel like Beauty of Joseon has just addressed that in the formulation. And they've just mixed in the honey into the clay and some of the rice in here as well. And now it is a really skin respective, very gentle, moisturizing, skin softening mask that also sucks up excessive oil and helps to clean out your pores, and is very, very respectful to my sensitive skin. So I just kind of wanted to give you an update. I know I've talked about it a lot. I gave it a rave review when it came out. I did some SponCon, some sponsored content with Beauty of Joseon for Prime Day. This is not sponsored. You know me, but I always want to say that just so you know, there's no question in your mind. I'm not sponsored by them anymore. That was a one video type of thing, and I was happy to do it because I love the product so much, right? But I wanted to just kind of update you and let you know that this is actually kind of it worked its way into like my weekly skincare routine. Haruharu Black Rice Moisture Airy Fit Daily Sunscreen. OMG. The hype is real. So many of you guys have recommended this sunscreen to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. But I have to say, I have so many freaking sunscreens. It is not a joke. It's great. It's great because let me share with you, this is kind of funny. I was thinking back on this a while ago. When I first started to do skincare reviews on my channel back in 2018, I was broke as a joke. I didn't have a job. I had been laid off of my job, and that is what gave me the courage like to do YouTube, because I had so much time. So I didn't have any money. And yeah, I was just getting started. And so the sunscreen that I had, this is so embarrassing. I was like, I wouldn't put it on if I wasn't going to be outside for a very long time because I didn't want to waste it, because I didn't have the money to buy more right away, right? And then I would like not put it on my neck because it's like, well, I don't want to use like a generous amount because like I don't have the money to replace it. So it's so interesting to look back because I was like, I just don't have a lot of money for skincare right now, and I need to save this. And I was in a very scarce mindset, and now I have too much sunscreen. And I'm like trying to like use it all up on my arms and my body, and I feel bad. Like I feel like it's wasteful because there's a short shelf life to this stuff, right? And I'm always giving it away to my family and everything. So I'm in a very blessed, abundant state when it comes to sunscreen, a very different place. So anyways, I haven't really been wanting to buy a lot of sunscreen because I have so much right now, right? And like I said, it feels wasteful to always get new stuff when I haven't finished the old stuff. However, content. I did the top 10 best-selling sunscreens at Yes Style. I wanted to do a video reviewing them, talking about this is what's actually popular and what people are buying and like, what do I think? And this was one that I hadn't tried, and I was like, it's time. So long story why I bought this, right? So I did buy it thinking it was just going to be like a whatever. It's going to go back into the sunscreen drawer. I'll use it when if I need it, but probably it's not going to like make it to the daily rotation. It made it to the daily rotation. Okay. As I shared in that video, I was like, wow, this is different. This feels like, so if you're familiar with the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sunscreen, the rice and probiotic sunscreen, it's like that sunscreen's moisture level, right? But it's like the texture of Skin 1004 Hyaluronic. It's like if those two had a baby, the best qualities that I love in both of those sunscreens came together with a happy medium. It is as moisturizing as Beauty of Joseon and as protective as Beauty of Joseon, but it's not as greasy as Beauty of Joseon. It's that light airiness that I love about the Hyaluronic, that really comfortable feel of the Hyaluronic. It's not overwhelming on my skin. I love it. It's different than the two, but it's like similar as well. It's such an interesting texture. It's creamy when you first get it out of the tube, but once you start to spread it, it's not like that gel cream. Like a lot of K-beauty sunscreens have like that wet gel cream feel to it. This is more truly a sun cream texture, but it applies like in a thin layer. And it absorbs and dries very quickly. It's very dry touch, and there's a very minimal finish to this. It's not like wet and dewy like the gel creams can be, but it's not like greasy, oily at the top like a hardcore traditional sunscreen cream can be. It's really elegant. I'm just like blown away. You know what I mean? Like just the experience of using it, how fast it dries. It works really well under makeup because of how fast it dries. I think that's really the key to getting your sunscreen to work well with makeup, is it really needs to be settled on your skin pretty fast. You're supposed to like wait, but let's be real. Who has the time to wait 10 to 20 minutes in between skincare and makeup when you got to get out the door? It's just not really very realistic. So these sunscreens that dry a little bit faster are really, I think, the answer. And this just feels so good. So for this month's self-care corner, I want to talk about getting it out of your brain and onto the page. And I am talking about anxiety and overthinking. I feel like there has been a lot of collective anxious energy building over the last month or so. I don't know if you're feeling it. I am feeling it. There's a lot to worry about. There's a lot going on, for sure. Yeah. And honestly, if you are feeling like anxious and overwhelmed about like the direction that the world is going in and stuff, it just shows that you're an empathetic person, However, it can really get in the way, right? It can really overtake us, and just like our minds are somewhere else and we're not in the present moment. It is interfering with work or relationships or whatever, right? You don't always want to be worrying. You don't always want to be anxious. And so I wanted to share with you something that has actually helped me work through the overthink and work through the anxiety. This is a tool that has been helping me. So journaling, super duper helpful. I'm a big advocate of it. Literally journaling changed my life, right? I recognize, as helpful as it can be, it's so freaking hard to get started with it, right? It really is. It's awkward. You're like, do I say like Dear Diary? Like, am I writing to somebody? Maybe there are certain things you self-censor yourself. You don't want to put on the page because it feels awkward. Yeah, it's weird. You don't know what to say. I get it. I totally do. Like that structure, the traditional structure of journaling is really tough. I'm not talking about writing a journal entry. I am talking about getting it from your brain to the page in the moment. So you're going to have like a small pad of paper or a journal or something with you. But when the overthink becomes so overwhelming, I cannot focus on what is happening in front of me. I just write it down. It's not a journal entry. It's not anything. It is literally like, I cannot stop it thinking about X. And it's like one sentence, or sometimes it's more mundane than that. Sometimes it's just like, I need to look at the Wikipedia page for this actor later. Reminder. I want to go down a rabbit hole, but I can't do it right now, right? Just put it on the page. It's not a journal entry. You do not have to expand on it, right? But it literally is the physical act. There's something about like the act, the muscle memory, I feel like, of writing it out. We hardly write things anymore, right? I don't think typing works. I don't think it does. I think you have to physically write it. The muscle memory of writing it out really physically gets it onto that page. And the nice thing is, once it's on the page, you can close the book. You can put it away. You know what I mean? It is physically out of your mind. And more times than not, it actually does help me concentrate. It just gets it out of the way. It has really, really helped me, because sometimes it's just that thought just needs that attention. And sometimes the only attention it needs is just to be written out and to be acknowledged. You don't need to go down a thought spiral, right? It just needs to be acknowledged, but it doesn't have to live in your brain rent-free anymore. So let me know all of your favorites, or maybe a lesson that you learned, or a self-care tip from August. Let me know in the comments below. If you love this video and you haven't hit subscribe for some reason, but you watched the whole thing through, please, I would be so honored if you would come join our community, especially if you love self-care and skincare. That's what my channel is all about. I really do hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe wherever you are in the world. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, your views, your thumbs up, your comments, even if you're just lurking in the background. I see you. Thank you so much, because you're the reason that I'm able to do this. I'm so grateful to you, and I love you so, so much. Thank you so much for making this channel possible. I'll see you in September. Bye.